I'll conduct the seminars, okay? Either for software engineering or the cryptography. So better you keep ready with your topics on which topic you would like to give the seminar. Getting the thing? Just decide it. Okay? Hello? Can you
Yes,
hear
ma'am.
me, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Okay. Then we'll start with the class, guys. Today's class. Last class, what we have seen? We have seen lastly what all the different exactly the process, software process activities are there in detail we have studied. Right? That is software specification, that you can also call it as a requirement engineering process. Have exactly what all the different sub stages are there in the requirement engineering process that we have seen. Then after that we have seen the software design and implementation, how it can be done, how it is going to translate your software or the system structure into the executable program, right? For that case, which are all the different types of design models or the design activities will be considered. Mainly 4 different kinds of design techniques will be used, that is architectural design, database design, right? The interface design and the component design. What is the meaning of these all 4 types of design activities we have studied. Then after that we have seen V and V, that is nothing but validation and the verification. In that case, which are all the different types of testings will be done, that we have seen, that is component testing, or you can call it as customer testing. Then system testing and the acceptance testing. What is the meaning of, what are the work of these all different kinds of techniques, testing techniques that we have studied. Then after that, last stage is system or software evolution, right? That means according to the change, according to the market change, you need to do the modification within the software. You are going to evolve the software, right? That is what called as the software evolution. How it can be done, that we have seen in the diagram. Today's class will start with the next thing, that is coping with the change. That means, now see, as I am telling, hello, can you hear me, guys? Please respond.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, coping with the change, that is the next point. That means here, see, as I am telling, as your business is growing, you will come up with the different kinds of needs, right? You will come with the different market requirements. So there needs to be change, needs to be done within your software what you have developed, right? It has to cope up with the requirements changing, right? That is how it can be done, how you are going to do the changing, right? Whether by using a plan driven method or by using a agile process method, how we are going to make a changes within the software development. That's what we are going to study in this particular point. Getting the thing? Just go through the slide, guys. Here see, change is inevitable. That means it is compulsory, right? It needs to be done sometime in all the large software projects, because as your business changes leads to the new and changed system requirements, and new technologies will open up new possibilities for improving the implementation, right? And changing platforms require the application changes. See, why you need to make a changes within the software projects, as your business needs may change or the new technologies are going to emerge, right? So depending upon that, you need to know the implementation within your implementation part, or changing platforms may require the application needs to be changed. These are the some things why you are going to do the changes within the software what you have already developed. So what exactly, how exactly it is going to how it is going to make a changes within the software project. The changes may lead to the rework. As already you know, changes means what? According to requirement, you are going to do the changes within your software product. That means you need to do the rework. It may be related to the implementation part, or it may be related to the reanalyzing the requirement what you have already considered to develop that particular software product. Getting the thing? So changes leads to the rework. So the cost of change, right? Whatever the cost you are going to consider to make a changes within the software project, that includes the both rework. That means what are all the things, for what all kind rework you are going to do on which part of the software project, whether it is going to for example, you may reanalyze the requirement, as well as the cost of implementing the new functionality. Right. So the cost of changes is going to include both the rework along with the implementation of the new functionality within your software project. I hope it is clear. This slide. Yes guys, the cost is going to include the rework, right? What rework, on which part of a software development you are going to do the rework. Along with that, if you want to add a new functionalities, the implementation part, right? The implementation of what? Developing the new functionality or adding the new functionality within your software projects. These two things will be considered if you are calculating the cost of changing within your software project. I hope it is clear. Getting the thing? Yes guys, are you getting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Okay. Then next we will see. Now if you want to reduce that cost, now we'll come to know that the cost is depending upon the rework and as well as the cost of the implementation. How to reduce this cost of the change? Right? How we are going to reduce the cost of this rework that needs to be done to make a changes within your software project. So that can be done in two ways. One is changing avoidance, or you can call it as a change anticipation, and second one is the change tolerance. Right? By using these two approaches, you can reduce the cost of the rework. Getting the thing? There are two ways are there, or two approaches are there. One is change avoidance and second one is the change tolerance. Name itself indicates. Avoidance means, what that indicates? Yes, avoidance indicates what? Change avoidance. That means whatever the functionalities are there, you are going to add it starting itself. Whenever you are going to develop the project. Are you getting? That means you are not going to make a changes within that software project once it is developed. You are avoiding to make a changes within that particular project. That indicates the cost of rework will be reduced by doing so. Yes or no? Now for example, I am developing a particular project. Before developing that particular project, what I will do, I will create a model of that one, right? To show the customer that how that particular software project is going to work. That I am going to show it by using the particular model what I have developed. That you can call it as a prototype, right? So by seeing that particular model, the customer will come to know whether his requirement are meeting by using that particular software project or no. Yes. So if it is what accepted by the customer, then you can go for the full implementation part of that particular software project, and you can give it to or expose it to the customers. This is how we are making the change anticipation, or you can call it as a change avoidance. Are you getting, guys? What exactly indicates change avoidance or the change anticipation? Getting the thing? Hello? Can you hear
Yes, ma'am.
me? Just go through the point, guys. Change anticipation indicates that where the software process includes the activities that can anticipate the possible changes before significant rework is required. That means before making the changes within that one only, you are going to do all the possible changes within your software projects. So how that can be done? For that case, you are going to develop the prototype of that particular system, right? That may be developed but to show some key features on the systems to the customers. That means the customer will come up with some requirement. Taken into the consideration of that requirement, you are going to develop a model, right? You are going to show the features, how that particular system is going to work to the customer. So if it is accepted by the customer, then you are going to go for the real implementation of that particular software project. So you are doing the rework, or to make the changes according to the customer. That rework you are doing what? You are reducing. So because of that only, you are going to reduce the cost of that rework that needs to be done to make changes within that software product. This is the first thing. Change avoidance, you can say, or you can call it as the change anticipation. Second one is change tolerance. Name itself indicates. You have developed a project, right? Then if there is a change in the requirement, we need to do those changes within the software product. So that particular software product needs to tolerate whatever may be the changes you are going to do within that software or the system. So what that indicates exactly, go through the point. Change tolerance, where the process is designed so that the changes can be accommodated at relatively low cost. That means even though you are doing the rework, yes, according to the changing requirement, that everything will be accommodated, but within the low cost. You are not going to spend a lot of money to do the changes within the software product. Yes, by using the less amount, you are going to make a changes according to the customer requirement. That is what called as the change tolerance. I hope it is clear. Just go through the point. This normally involves some form of incremental development. Already you have studied incremental development. That is the one software process model. Remembered? By using such incremental development model, you can make the change tolerance to reduce the cost of a rework, right? And the proposed changes may be implemented in increments that have not been developed. If this is impossible, then only the single increment may have be altered to incorporate the changes. That means you are going to develop the different versions of the software development. Have you studied? You are going to do some initial implementation, then you are going to expose it to the customer, right, for the customer comment. According to the customer comment, again you are going to make the changes. That means in increment wise, in a different versions of the system you are going to develop. Yes or no? That work or this type of a techniques you are going to use to make a change tolerance. I hope it is clear. Both the approaches to reduce the cost of the rework. Are you getting? Are you getting? Hello? Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Sumaya?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you getting? There are two approaches are
Yes,
there to
ma'am.
reduce the cost of a rework. One is change anticipation and second one is the change tolerance, right? Then next we will see how you are going to, again there are two more approaches are there. If you want to make a changes within the changing requirement, right? If you want to make a cope up with the changing requirement, by using these two different ways you can do that one. That is, one is by developing the system prototype and second one is the incremental delivery. The same concepts we have used in the change tolerance and the change anticipation or the change avoidance. In anticipation we have used what? Software prototyping. The prototype we have developed here. In change tolerance we are going to use the incremental development to reduce the cost of a rework. The same thing we are doing, you are using to coping with the changing requirement. Now we'll see what exactly system prototype indicates. As already told, prototype is nothing but just a model you are going to develop to show the customer some of the features which you want to develop by using that particular software, right? What exactly that particular software is going to do according to the requirement. Some key features you are going to show it to the customer by developing the particular model. That is what called as the prototype. Getting the thing? The system prototyping is a one way to cope up with the changing requirement. That is, first one is system prototyping. That is nothing but where a version of the system or a part of system is developed quickly to check the customer requirement and the feasibility of the design decision. This approach supports the change anticipation, as already I told, right? Change anticipation and the change avoidance are done with reference to the system prototype. Clear, guys? What is system prototyping, or you can call it as a software prototyping? Getting the thing? Where a version, right, the initial version of the system will be done or part of the system. That means only some features you are going to add according to the customer requirement, and that will be exposed to the customer. Clear? This is what called as system prototyping. Clear? Then second one is incremental delivery. Name itself indicates you are going to develop the system in the increments, right? So the initial implementation will be done, that will be exposed to the customer comment, right? If he is what ready to accept that particular software product as it is implemented already, then it is okay. But if you want to make a changes within that software, that can be done, yes, in the incremental development. Already we have studied, right? Because there are specification, development and the validation. All the three stages are interlinked. You can make a changes at any phase. Correct. So this supports both the change avoidance and the change tolerance to reduce the cost of the rework. These are the what? Two things or the two ways we can use to coping with the changing requirement. I hope it is clear, guys. Getting the thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Next we will see in detail how exactly the software prototyping will be done and what exactly where you are going to use the software prototyping. As already told, the software, the system prototyping is nothing but just you are going to develop the part of the system. Yes, according to the customer requirement. So we can define the prototype as it is the initial version of the system used to demonstrate the concepts and try out the design options according to the customer requirement. You are going to develop the initial version of the system, right? To just demonstrate some key features, the features which can be done by using that particular software, that you are going to demonstrate the concepts and you are going to try out the design options according to the customer requirement. That is what called as the prototype. I hope it is clear what you mean by prototype. It is just the initial version of the system that is used to demonstrate the concepts and you are going to try out the design options according to the customer requirement. So where in which are all the cases you are going to use a prototype, where in which are all the stages or which are all the software process activities you are going to use a prototype. See here, the requirement engineering process. As already know what you mean by requirement engineering process, it is nothing but your software specification. By using software specification, what you are going to define, what system needs to do, that you are going to define. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? What is this software specification? It is going to define how exactly your or what your system is going to do, that you are going to define. Yes or no? So that is also called as requirement engineering process. So in that process activity, it is used to help with the requirement elicitation and the validation. This is one of the sub stage we have already studied in the software specification. In that particular stage, you can develop the prototype, right? And second one is in design process, in a software design and the development phase or the implementation phase, to explore the options and develop the UI design, that is user interface design. If you want to do so, for that case you can develop again the prototype. The next is in the testing process to run back-to-back tests, right? To run the back-to-back, one by one the test. If you want to do it on the software project by in the testing process, in that case again you can develop the prototype. These are the three things where you can develop, right, the prototype according to the customer requirement. Clear? The prototype is used in all the three stages of process activities. That is, in case of requirement engineering process also you can develop, right, or you can create a prototype in a design process also, and in case of the testing process also. In that, what all the things it is going to do in requirement engineering process, it is going to help with the requirement elicitation and validation. In design process, now already, so for example, if you are developing a website, right, the user interface what you are creating, right, first you will show it to the customer, you will expose it to the customer. If that particular user interface is okay with the customer, then you will go for the design process. Otherwise what you will do, According to the customer need, you are going to make a changes within that. Yes or no? So to explore the options and develop a UI design, you can use the or create a prototype in a design process. The next is in the testing process, you can run one by one or run back to back the test. If you are doing after doing one or doing the testing of a software project, what is the outcome that you are going to show it to the customer, right? So in that manner you are going to use the prototypes within the software engineering. Clear, guys? Are you getting? Two ways are there for coping with the changing requirement. One is software prototyping and second one is the incremental delivery. First we have seen now software prototyping. Any doubt with this? Are you getting? No response at all?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you getting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Then next is next we will see what are the benefits you are going to get by using the software prototyping, right? It is going to give you the improved system usability. That means according to the we have developed a prototype. Yes, if it is okay with that prototype, the customer is okay, then you are going to develop the final version of the software. If it is not done, then you are going to do the improvement according to the customer need. So the improved system usability, you can do it by using a prototyping and a closer match to the user's real needs, right? Because how we are developing a prototype, how we are developing initial version of the system according to the customer needs, right? So it may be a closer match to the user's real need and improved design quality. See, as already told, you by in the design process, if you are using a prototype, it is going to give you the different, you are going to explore the options and you are going to come up with the different kinds of a UI designs. So it is going to improve the design quality of your software project and it is going to improve the maintainability, right? And it is going to reduce the development effort, because whatever the prototype in initial version only you have done some coding work, the same thing you are going to use it for the final version. So it is going to reduce the development effort for your software project. These are the some benefits you are going to get by using the software prototyping. Next we will see what exactly, how exactly the prototype development will be done. What is the process of prototype development? Now just go through the diagram. Is it visible, guys, the diagram? Is it visible? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. See, it is what the process. What all the different steps are there to what make the prototype development. Just go through the steps, guys. First, you are going to establish the prototype objective. Objective indicates what? Now we are creating, or if you are doing a one particular project, you will write no the objective of the project. What is the use of objective of the project? What it is going to indicate? Yes, guys. What is the objective? What do you mean by objective? Yes, guys. What is the objective? If we are doing any project, compulsory will it write no? This is the objective of this project. What do you mean by objective? What it is going to indicate? Yes, anyone? Yes, guys, can you tell me what is the use of objective? Hello? No answer. All of you done one project in your BCA, right? There you have written the objective of the project. What is the use of objective of the project? What it is going to indicate? Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Sujit. What is objective, Sujit?
Ma'am.
Snehal? Soumya? What is the use of writing objective? Tell me. What it indicates objective?
No, objective means what we use on softwares and that's all, ma'am.
No, that is system
Which
spec.
version?
that comes in all the designing part, right? Hardware and the software
Yes, ma'am.
things you are going to use. Objective indicates what exactly that project is doing. Yes, by using this project what can be done, what you are doing exactly, that you are going to specify. Yes or no? Objective of the project. Now for example, if I indicate the one of the government website, if I have created, right, what are all the things you can do it by using that website. If you are indicating, that is what the objective of the project. That means that particular software is going to do the only those kind of a functionalities that you are specifying. That is what called as the objective. In the same manner, now the prototype indicates what you are developing the initial version of the system or the part of the system you are developing, right? So by using that part of a system, what are the features you want to specify, that you need to establish first, right? You are going to establish, that is the first stage it is indicating. See here, establish the prototype objective. That means by using this particular prototype, what are all the different kinds of functionalities you want to do, right? That you need to specify first, right? After that, define the prototype functionalities. Now you are defining which are all the different functionalities or the features you are developing or by using this particular prototype, that you are defining here. Then according to that particular functionalities, you are developing the prototype. Next, you need to develop the prototype. Then you need to evaluate the prototype. What do you mean by evaluating the prototype? What do you mean by the evaluating the prototype? Evolving indicates what? Evolution indicates what? You need to do some modification, right? According to the customer needs. Yes or no? Evolution indicates what? New things you need to add. Modification needs to be done, right? According to the requirement. Correct or no? Are you getting? Are you getting? What are these 4 steps?
Yes, ma'am.
The activities are included within the process of the prototype development. In the diagram itself it is clear. See, establishing the prototype objective indicates what? Prototyping, planning. You are doing a planning about that particular prototype. What are all the different functionalities it can do, that you are specifying, right? The next is defining a prototype functionality. That means you are doing the outlining of definition of that particular prototype will be done. That means by using this prototype, what are the features you are going to add within that prototype, that you are specifying here. Then lastly, by using some different technologies, you are developing the prototype. You are making that prototype as an executable program. The next is you are evaluating the prototype. That indicates what? If some features are not added, right, according to the customer need, if you want to add some more features within that prototype, yes, according to that you are going to do the evaluate the prototype. That means what are all the different key features if you want to add, right? For that you are going to make the report of that evolution report with respect to the prototype. These are the 4 steps you are going to use to develop any software prototype. You need to establish the objective. You need to define the prototype functionality. Then you need to develop a prototype using any of the technologies. Then next is you need to evaluate that particular prototype. These are the 4 stages are there in the process of the prototype development. I hope it is clear. Yes guys, is that clear? Hello, can you hear me? Is that clear? Yes ma'am. Okay. Next we will see the prototype development, where it will be used, right? See what are all the things it is going to include. May be used on the rapid prototyping languages or the tools, right, where this prototype development, this process will be used. If you want to, it is mainly depending upon the rapid prototyping languages and the tools. It may involve leaving out some functionalities. That means the prototype may be having some functionalities and it is going to leave some of the functionality. Which are all the functionalities is going to leave it out? That we will see now. The prototype should focus on the areas of the product that are not well understood. See, the prototype should focus on the areas of the product that are not well understood. See, if the requirements are well understood, depending upon that you are going to create a prototype. But what prototype will not, it will not focus on the requirements, those are not well understood. This particular functionality will not be involved in the prototyping. Whenever you are creating a prototype for the initial version of the system, this functionality will not be added, but it needs to focus on such areas also that you need to take into the consideration. Then second one is error checking and the recovery may not be included in the prototype. See, as already you have seen, the prototype development, just you are define the prototype, you have developed the prototype, and you are evaluating the prototype. Whether you are doing their validation or the verification of the prototype here, any testing we have added here after developing the prototype. Is there any stage we have added here? Is that stage is there in the process of the prototype development? No, right? We are not doing any validation. Yes or no? You are not doing any kind of a testing over here. Just we are developing and we are exposing it to the customer. So error checking and the recovery, that particular thing we have not done. We are not including any type of a testing in a prototype development, but it needs to be taken into the consideration, right? Then focus on the functional and the non-functional functional rather than the non-functional requirements such as reliability and the security. See, by using a prototype, just you are developing the initial version of the system. What all the features needs to be added, what all the functionalities should be there within the system, that you are giving the focus by using the prototype. But it is not going to include the non-functional requirements like security, right? If you are developing a software, that must be secured one, right? With respect to the customer, copyright will be there for every software. Otherwise, that is called as a software piracy. Anyone can use that one, the copy of the software, right? So such security will not be considered whenever you are going to create the initial version of the system. But that also, the prototype needs to make a focus on such non-functional requirements also. Clear? Such functionalities, that is, it is not going to work on the product which are not well understood. Error checking and the recovery, that cannot be included within the prototype, right? And along with that, it is going to not work on the non-functional requirement. These all functionalities in prototype development, those are not involved, right? It is going to leave out these all functionalities, but we should take into the consideration. Yes, exactly. Prototype development, guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, next we will see throw away prototypes. Now what I told, the prototype indicates what? Just you are developing the initial version of the system. Just you are making a model of the software. How it is going to work, that you are showing by the prototype, right? Now name itself indicates throw away prototype. Once the initial version of the system, that is the prototype, is done, if it is agreed by the customer, you are making the actual development of the software. Once you did the actual development of the software, that particular prototype will be thrown away. There is no use of that particular software, that prototype. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Now see,
Yes, ma'am.
I am using a computer, right? I am using a computer. Before developing this particular, or before using this computer, what I will make to for kids, what I will show, I will use a cardboard, and by using a cardboard, I will make a copy of the same computer. Yes, By using that cardboard, I will show them how exactly the computer looks like. Yes or no? Then once the actual computer comes into the existence, I will throw away that the cardboard computer, what I have created, what I have designed. Yes or no? Yes or no? Correct. In the same
Yes, ma'am.
way, once the model you have created, the actual development has been done for the same software, you are going to throw away that particular prototype. That is what called as the throw away prototypes. See here, prototypes should be discarded after the development, as they are not a good basis for the production system, because you are not going to, whether the actual pieces has been come for the use, or whether you are going to use a cardboard pieces, the model what you have created, that can be used for your regular usage. Just it is a model, right? So for production system, it is not a what the worthful to use that particular prototype. In the same sense, in software also, if you have created a prototype, that will be discarded once the actual development of that software has been done, because they are not a good basis for the production system. Just see why it may be impossible to tune the system to meet the non-functional requirement. As already I told, non-functional requirements are not added in the prototype. So if you want to work with a non-functional requirement, just you are not going to use the prototype. Then second one is, prototypes are normally undocumented. See, once you have created a model, just you are showing how it is going to work, that particular system is going to work. The documentation of that particular prototype will not be done at any time. Once the actual development of that software is done, then only you are going to do the documentation. You are going to make a report about that particular software. So the prototypes are not normally undocumented. The prototype structure is usually degraded through the rapid change. See, according to the customer requirement, you are developing the prototype. In prototype, you are not going to add all the functionalities, only the specific kind of features or the functionalities you are going to add it, right? And you are exposing it to the customer. So the performance of the prototype structure is usually degraded through the rapid change, right? Once the customer come up with the new requirement, that cannot be added once again in the prototype. The prototype probably will not meet the normal organizational quality standards. See, it will not meet the normal organization standards, whatever are there. Yes, quality standards will not be met by the prototype. So because of these things, the prototypes will be thrown away once the actual development of the software has been done. I hope it is clear, right? These are the 4 things why you are not going to, why the prototypes will be discarded, why you are not going to use it once the actual development of the software is done. Clear? Are you getting?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that clear about software prototyping? This is the one of the
Yes, ma'am.
way to coping with the changing in the requirement, right? According to the customer need, the change is inevitable in almost all the large software projects, right? So to make changes within the software, your software needs to be cope up with the changing requirement, right? For that case, we have studied first way, that is software prototyping. By using a software prototyping, how it is going to cope up with the changing requirement, that what we have seen. I hope it is clear. Software prototyping, guys. What are all things we have seen? What do you mean by software prototype? What are all the benefits of software prototype? Right? Then next we have seen the software development prototype process. What are all the different stages are there? Then we have seen what do you mean by throw away prototype. Why the prototype will be discarded once the actual development of the software has been done. Clear? Are you getting, guys? Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Then second thing is what? If you want to cope up with the changing requirement, is second one is incremental delivery. Right? incremental delivery. That means you are going to do the just initial implementation of the software and you are exposing it to the customer comment, right? As the customer is agree with that same software version what you have created, then you are just giving it to the customer. Or else if the user is not agreed with respect to the software what you have done the initial implementation, yes, according to the customer need you are going to make the changes, right? So because of that only one of the software process model we have already studied, that is incremental model, incremental development model. Have you remember? There you are going to do the initial version, medium version will be will be developed, then lastly you are going to do the the final version of the software product. Yes or no? The same thing here also it is used. According to the changing requirement you need to do the incremental development of the software product. Yes, it has to accommodate the customer changing needs, right? It needs to tolerate that one, your software product. Is that clear? Getting the thing? Incremental delivery, this is the second way to cope up with the changing requirement for your software project. Are you getting, guys, what I'm explaining? Are you understanding? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, see there. Rather than delivering the system as a single delivery at once, fully implemented software, what you are doing? The development and the delivery is broken down into the increments, with each increment delivering the part of required functionality, right? You are taking the customer requirement, you are doing a initial implementation of that one. In that you are adding some required functionality, right? Required features you are going to add and you are exposing it to the customer requirement, customer comment. If customer is okay with that software product, then you are going to add the next functionalities. This is why in increments, right, you are going to add the different functionalities into the software product. Instead of at once you are going to develop the whole software. Getting the thing? So whatever the user requirements are there, according to the user requirement you are going to give the priority for the functionalities which needs to be added within the software product. Yes, which is having the highest priority, that functionality will be added first. Yes, that will be implemented first, and which is having a lowest priority, the functionality, that will be you are going to give or you are going to implement it at the end, or you are going to give it the last implementation. Is that clear? Getting the thing? According to the user requirements are prioritized, right? The highest priority requirement are included within the early increments. Are you getting? Which is having the highest priority. Yes, according to the requirement, which functionality is having the highest priority, that will be implemented first, which is having last, that will be developed at the end. Clear? Next versions you are going to develop that one according to the priority. And once the development of the increment is started, the requirements are frozen. Through the requirements for the later increments can continue to evolve. See, one particular, for example, one requirement is there. According to that, according to the functionality, you have created the one version of the software now. That particular requirement you have already used in one of the version. So that particular requirement will be frozen. That you are not going to consider the next version of the software. Right? In the next increment, it is going to come up with it is going to consider the different kinds of requirements. Right? Or it is going to do the evolution of the requirements will be done. That everything will be considered in the next version of the software. Getting the clear? In a single increment, you are not going to add all the requirement. Is that clear? Once the requirement is used, it will be frozen. Though the requirements for the later increments can continue to evolve. Are you getting, guys? Now see, Android. All of you are having Android phones, right? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello. See, starting Android phone, whenever you will buy, no, at that time it is having some key features, your phone. Then again software updates will come. Software updates will come. According to that, the new functionalities will be added into your phone. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Software update will come or no in your phone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Software update indicates what? Some extra functionalities will be added in your phone. Maybe some icons will change. Right? Your OS version will also get changed sometime. Yes or no? Software update will come. So that what indicates. Whenever the phone is developed by using Android, that Android, all the functionalities will not be added at a single time. Instead of that, in increments, they are going to come up with the new functionalities. This is how exactly the increment delivery will be done to cope up with the changing requirement. Are you getting, guys? Are you getting? Starting there were basic phones. Basic 1100. Basic phones were there. Now you can see what kind of mobiles you are using. So many functionalities are added. Day to day, different technologies will come. According to that, there is a the mobile phones will be developed. Yes or no? With those functionalities. That is what you can call it as an incremental delivery. Clear? Getting the thing? Are you getting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? How about others? Only 2-3 girls are responding. Are you there in the meeting or just joined and you're watching TV?
Yes, ma'am.
No? Are you listening to the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. See, incremental delivery. Now we'll see what is incremental development and the delivery. What exactly the definition for the incremental development and the delivery. Development means develop the system in the increments and evaluate each increment before proceeding to the development of the next increment. Normal approach used is agile methods. Already you said, you have known what is agile methods or the agile process. There are two kinds of software process developments are there. One is plan driven and second one is the agile process. Plan driven means you know all the requirements well advanced. According to that you are going to plan the software development. But in agile what will happen? You are going to do the development in a incremental manner. So the normal approach used in incremental development is agile methods, and evolution is done by the user or the customer proxy. That means the evolution of that particular version of the software what you are going to develop, the evolution will be done by the customer or the user's needs, right? As your user needs are going to change or according to the user comment, you are going to make a change within the software. This is what called as the incremental development. Then what do you mean by incremental delivery? Deploy an increment for the user use by the end users. That means once the initial implementation of the software will be done, that will be exposed to the user comment. Yes or no? So deploy that increment for the use by the end users, and more elastic evaluation about the practical use of the software. So now whatever the software is used by the end users, they are going to do they are going to use that particular software. So the practical use of the software will be done by the users. So difficult to implement for the replacement system as the increments have less functionalities than the system being replaced. See, if you are implementing the system as increments, that means the different versions of the software you are developing, right? till the final version of that software it will develop. So it is going to have a less functionalities than the system being replaced. As already told, in increments you are going to consider the different kinds of functionalities. Initial version is focusing on the only specific kind of a functionality. Then the middle version of the software, it is going to consider some specific kind of a functionality. In final version only you are going to come up with you are going to add all the functionalities which are needed to meet the customer specification. So it is difficult to implement for the replacement systems, as increments have less functionalities than the system being replaced. Clear? Getting the thing, guys? This is what incremental development and the delivery. Development means in increments you are developing the software and delivering it to the customer comment, right? That is what incremental development and the delivery indicates. Next we will see how exactly incremental development and delivery will be done. Just go through the diagram. Is it visible? Is
Yes,
it
ma'am.
visible?
Yes,
Just
ma'am.
see how it is showing. First, define the outline requirement. That means first you are taking the customer requirement and assign the requirements to the increment, as already told. Not all the increments are going to do the same functionality, right? According to the user requirement, you are going to give the priority for the customer requirement, yes or no, which is having a highest priority, that will be developed first, that will be added in the first increment, right? So you are going to assign the requirements to the increments according to the priority of requirements and design the system architecture, right? And you are going to develop the system increment. Clear? Getting the thing? First you are defining the requirement, then assigning the requirement to the increments. That means in first initial version which requirements needs to be considered. Okay, then next version of the what or the next increment, which kind of a requirements needs to be considered. That you are assigning the requirements to the increments. Then after that you are designing that increments, right? The system architecture will be designed. Then next is you are developing by using a different techniques. You are developing the system increment. Then once it is developed, you are validating. What do you mean by validating? Checking, yes or no? Checking with the customer needs, whether it is meeting the customer needs or no, that you need to check it out, right? So develop the system increment. After that you are validating the increments. That means checking whether it is meeting the customer requirement or no, right? Are you getting? Then
Yes,
what are the versions of the increment you have developed, right? All the increments you have developed now, you have validated, and lastly you are integrating those all increments, because each increment is come up with the different functionalities, right? You have validated those things with the customer requirement, and lastly you are integrating those all increment to make it as a one system, right? So integrate the increments, then you will validate the system. Now integrating indicates what? Combining all the increments to make it as a one system. Now you have come up with the one system. That full system needs to be validated now, not with the increment, part wise validation. Now we are doing whole system, whole thing you need to validate. If whether it is there any errors are there that needs to be recovered, is it meeting all the customer requirement, what we have considered, everything is considered in this particular system or no, right? Those all things needs to be checked and you need to ensure that one. And lastly, if it is validated that system, you are going to deploy that particular system into the market or to the customer. You are exposing it to the customer. If that once you are deployed, right, if some functionalities are not added, right, that indicates, see here, after deployment you are checking whether the system is incomplete. If system is not having some functionalities, again you are going to go for the develop the system increment to add those requirement, right? If the system is complete, if once the deployment is done, if it is having all the requirement or all the functionalities are there, then the final system will be exposed to the customer. If system is complete, it is final system will be exposed to the customer. If deployment, if it is not having any functionalities, that indicates the system is incomplete. So once you are developing, once again you are developing the that system increments to add those functionalities. Clear? This is how, these are the what different stages are there in case of an incremental delivery. I hope it is clear. Getting the thing? First you need to define the requirement and assign the requirement to the increments, right? And design that one, develop that increment, then validate that increment. Lastly, you need to combine those all increments to make it as a one system. Then whole system will be validated. Once it is validated, deploy that increment, right? Deploy that the version of the system. Once it is deployed, again, if that system is incomplete, to add the functionalities, once again you need to develop the system increment. If system is complete, final system will be exposed to the customer. This is how incremental delivery will be done, right? Are you getting, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Getting the thing? This is what increment, step by step you are adding the functionalities. Once the customer is come up with the new requirements, changing requirements, right? Your system needs to be cope up with that. Those modification needs to be done. How it can be done? This is how they have shown. First, according to the whatever the starting requirements are there, with respect to that you have developed a system. But the customer is coming now with a new requirement. That indicates that the system is not including those requirements, not including those functionalities. Once again you are developing the system to add those functionalities. If the customer is agree with the software, what he has given a requirement, we have taken into the consideration, with respect to that we have developed the software. If he is agree with that, then the final system will be given to the customer. Clear? This is how, these are the what different stages are involved in the incremental delivery. I hope it is clear. I hope it is clear, guys. Getting the thing, incremental delivery.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we'll see
Yes, ma'am.
what are the advantages you are going to get with respect to the incremental delivery. Can anyone tell what are the advantages you are going to get in incremental delivery? Any advantages? Can you tell? Yes, guys. Let's go through the slide itself. Incremental delivery advantages. The customer value can be delivered with each increment, right? So the system functionality is available earlier, right? Initial implementation you are going to do according to the customer requirements, and you are going to expose it to the customer requirement. So the customer value can be delivered with each increment. So you can, system functionality is easily or very early it is available to the customer by doing the incremental delivery. Then second is early increments acts as a prototype to help the elicit requirement for the later requirement. Yes or no? Prototype indicates what? The initial version of the system or the part of system you are going to do. So what I told, early increments what? User requirements you are going to give the priority. According to the priority, which is having the highest priority requirement is there, that functionality needs to be considered in the early increments. So part of the system is developed there itself. Yes or no? So that will elicitate the requirements for the later increments and lower risk of overall project failure. Right? There is a lower risk of overall project failure is there. That is the one more advantage. And the highest priority system services tend to receive the most testing. Clear? Yes, guys. These are the some advantages are there. And next is some problems. Just go through the slide. Problems. Most systems require a set of basic facilities that are used by the different parts of the system. The essence of iterative process is that the specification is developed in conjunction